So we have a Titan build this time, because we haven't actually had a lot of love for Titans recently. I think it's been a week or two since we've had the last Titan build. And for this one, we are using an exotic that is very popular, although I've never made a video on it. These exotics are known as the Ashen Wake. Titan exotic gauntlets that make fusion grenades very, very, very good. They're amazing in Crucible. They're pretty good in PvE. I'm trying them out in PvE, although I don't have all the ideal stuff for it. So I'm going to work around with this Ashen Wake build to make it more open for people to use. All right, let's get into it. So first things first, Ashen Wake. What it does, it makes fusion grenades explode on impact, and they get increased in throw speed, whoop-de-doo, and final blows with fusion grenades grant grenade energy. This is pretty dope, although it kind of scales, I don't know, a little weird. I wish it did it a little more than it does now for PvE, but it's the way of the road. For 1 kill, it gives you about a fifth. For 2 fifths. For 3, it gives you around 3/4, and 4, I'm pretty sure it gives you all of it back, or around that, something within that range. So it is not a bad exotic at all for PvE. For subclass, we are using Sunbreaker, bottom tree, with all the sunspots and all that junk. Basically, we're using the sunspots to enhance our grenade cooldown as well as our ability cooldown in general, because our discipline is dog crap. This is how we're going to be getting our abilities back most of the time, because of a nice little ability called Sun Warrior, which increases your recharge rate for your abilities when you pass through a sunspot. Also, it increases your damage dealt for weapons. I didn't even know that. The more you know. Learn something new every day. And the weapons we are using, this is actually pretty important. At least one weapon is. The Anarchy, Astral Horizon, these are not important at all. You can run whatever you want. Although for the heavy weapon, I would recommend going something very damage oriented, because this build is not very good for bosses, if I'm being completely honest. It is more so an ad clear build, so bosses is kind of hard to deal with unless you have a nice heavy weapon. So Anarchy, Lament, Xenophage, all those weapons, highly recommend it. But the weapon that I wanted to go over, or at least a perk on a weapon that I wanted to go over, is Demolitionist on my Ikelos SMG. So Ikelos SMG is just a good gun in general. It helps you get those Warmind Cell builds going if you want to run a Warmind Cell build with the Ashen Wake instead. But for this one, the only thing we're going to pay attention to is Demolitionist. Now for Demolitionist, basically increases your grenade cooldown, or decreases your grenade cooldown incredibly. Every time you get a kill, it decreases your grenade cooldown, and it gives you a little portion of it back. So the more kills you get with your SMG, the faster your grenade comes back. This, plus the actual perk on the Ashen Wake, getting grenade energy from getting grenade kills, is how we're going to be getting our grenade back insanely fast, plus our sunspots from our subclass, which is why we're actually not speccing anything at all into our discipline. There's like, it's piss poor. It's terrible. Which leads me to go into stats. For stats, pretty crappy. I don't really have too much armor that actually goes with what I'm trying to do for this build, so I went with what I had. And basically what I wanted to do was get my intellect as high as I possibly could, because this is in fact a super build as well as a grenade build, kind of like the one that we did for our hunter, except this is just a Titan version using solar. We're basically just going to be using our grenades, our constant grenade recharge rate, to be getting our super back as fast as we possibly can. And I'll go over that in just a little bit when we get to mods, because the mods is a big part of that, huge part of that. So yeah, we have 100 intellect just to get our super back very fast. And if you want another suggestion of what you should go, I would just either go into grenades or go into recovery, because having that health regen is extremely important in PvE content, especially in endgame content. Even in PvP, if you're going to be using Ashen Wake, you want that regen for PvE and PvP, especially if you're soloing stuff. All right, next up, going into mods. We're speedrunning this. So for this, I'm just going to go through the Charge of Light mods real quick, just a brief one, and explain the main one in detail, sort of, kind of. So for these 5 armor pieces, we are using Charged Up as well as Supercharged. Supercharged gets us 2 extra spots for Charge of Light, and Charged Up gets us 1. So we're getting the max amount for 5. That is really important for our super. And we are also using Swift Charge, which rapid kills with an SMG, pulse rifle, or sidearm, gets us Charged Up with Light. So you don't necessarily need to use an SMG. You just need to use something, a weapon that has Demolitionist, and that will help you become charged with light at the same time. And the last Charge of Light mod that we are using is Energy Converter. This is the main one, the very important one. And what it does, basically gets us super energy whenever we throw a grenade, whenever we have Charge of Lights. Stacks. Charge of Light stacks. We can get up to 5 stacks, and we can only get super energy from our grenade using this up to a 50% margin for our super, up to the 50% margin. So once we get past the 50% barrier for our super, once we're more than halfway, this will not work. So having another Charge of Light to consume your Charge of Light stacks, if you want, can be useful, but I personally don't like that, because I actually use my grenades way more, since I know it won't consume my Charge of Light stacks. I'm basically using my grenade at all times. And the last mod I want to go over, it is not as important, but it is far more important than the other Charge of Light mods, is Ashes to Acid. methods. I would run 2 of them if you can. Basically what it does, you just gain super energy when you get grenade kills. When you have 2 of them, you have diminishing returns for them, so it'll give you around 1.3% rather than just a 2-time stack, so you'll get like a 1.3 to 1.5 stack increase, and that in turn will just help us get our super that much faster. And yeah, that is pretty much the build. Just a grenade, super, Ashen White build, and it is as simple as that, with Demolitionist on our Ikelos. Alright, that's all I got. If you enjoy this video, I am super glad. Leave a like or comment down below. Tell me what you think of it. If you disagree or find something about this build that could be better in some other way, I would love to hear it. I love discussing stuff with people in the comments. And yeah. Oh! Quick reminder, I'm actually just gonna probably put this at the beginning or in the description, but I made my Discord. So if you want to join, go ahead and check it out. It's in the description. And yeah, it's pretty scuffed, so sorry, but I did what I could. All right, that is it. I will see you in the next one. Big things are coming for this year, guys. All right. Peace.